BT, come here. I need you. Request Titanfall.
Pilot, Titanfall has been achieved.
You took your time. What the hell were you doing?
This LT unit was engaging in biohazard duties in your quarters, sir. Initiating neural link.
What's a neural link?
I need to have you inside me.
What?
Titan and pilot integration is necessary for mission success. Deploying rectal access.
Wait, rectal access? Surprisingly roomy.
Hey guys, welcome to another review from Overbite Gaming. Today, the luscious Lee and the snooty Snare.
Majestic Snare.
Snooty Snare. We'll be reviewing, as you may have guessed from the skit and the
Title of the video.
title of the video. We're going to be reviewing Titanfall 2. Surprise!
Which is from Respawn Entertainment.
He's so smug because we just looked that up.
We did, yeah. Just to, it'll be in the description anyway, but you know, just to prove we do our research.
And published by
Someone?
Electronic Arts, you dolt. That's why it's on Origin.
I don't want to speak the name that cannot be spoken. EA. Oh my god, he's going to come and kill me.
I thought that was what's his face, the bald-headed man.
Yeah, but that's the kind of... Anyway, let's move on. So, Titanfall 2, eh? Why isn't anyone playing it?
Yeah, it's a good game. Fucking hell, what's going on?
Cut to the end of the... Thanks for joining us today. That was it. No, seriously, Titanfall 2 is a shooter. It's a shooter with a twist.
It has titans.
Yeah. So
And they fall.
and twice they've fallen. But the game it's effectively a shooter. It's a first-person shooter and a mech warrior type element to the shooting.
I would say it's more like Hawk and Mech Warrior 2 is much more sort of simulation-y, while Hawken was far more arcadey.
I'm glad you got that out and off your chest. Well done. Well done. But what I wanted to say was that this game is in a genre that has been absolutely saturated over recent years.
Recent months, in fact.
Well, yeah. but the thing is, with Titanfall 2, it's got that extra little twist that can hopefully keep people entertained. But I don't understand why people have not got involved with it. For example, yesterday I jumped on to play some multiplayer. 7,000 people in Europe playing, which doesn't seem like a lot, considering what you told me earlier about Eve.
Yeah, Eve usually has,
for example,
usually has about concurrently between 15 and 24,000 players. So
it's not a great deal. I don't know how much like WoW has running at one time.
Probably a lot,
quite a few.
Yes,
but it's new, so you'd expect the novelty to be still there, and people playing it. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem that way.
I mean, it doesn't do anything to deserve it either. It does what it sets out to do pretty damn well.
So let's talk about what you get for your money. So at the moment, excluding Black Friday sales, which have been happening while we
after we
this,
bought it.
Yes, the game was costing about $49.99, I think it was.
Yes, that's correct.
So 50 quid for a game, and in that game you're going to get something equivalent of about 5 to 6 hours of campaign.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair. Yeah.
And then obviously the money is pretty much for your multiplayer experience. The money that you've spent on the game does reflect in the quality of that actual final product, both in how it looks and how it plays.
Mm-hmm.
The optimization
is excellent. We had pretty much
snooty guy here with optimization
snooty
fucking hang-ups.
It was solid 60 frames per second, top bollocks, lovely. I had a few frame drops, but they didn't happen in sort of the same. I replayed a section of the game to capture footage, and I got frame drops replaying it that I didn't have initially.
So that'll be the capture maybe having an effect.
Yeah, possibly.
It can happen. So normal play, it's smooth, it's nice, textures look good, character animations look good. You know, the effort has been put into producing a game or an experience of the game that is probably top notch.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed my time with it. I mean, being me, I didn't really do much of the multiplayer or any of the multiplayer.
Yeah, I'll be covering that bit.
He'll be covering that bit. But I mean, certainly for me, the campaign is well written. It's well voice acted. It's exciting. The gunplay and the mechanics all work well. The wall jumping's back. It just worked really well. The storyline's good. You get to care about your Titan BT. So yeah, I mean, buy it. What the fuck?
It's definitely, if the price comes down, pick it up. That's straight off the bat. I'd say do that. But stick around for the rest of the review so we can talk about what's going on in the game. So in terms of the campaign, let's start with that.
Yeah.
So the story is kind of, you're thrust into a world of Titans. You're some kind of third rifleman. I think your title is.
Yeah, you're just like
You're a grunt, basically,
you're a
aren't you?
grunt. Yeah, your life expectancy is like 16 seconds.
You should have died already,
Yeah.
probably. So you get thrust into a world where a pilot, which are the people that are referred to as the people who are kind of linked up with the Titans, these big walking bipedal mech warrior things, that that pilot dies, he transfers his ownership of the Titan to you, and then you go off on a journey with BT, your particular Titan, to face different enemies, environments, kind of set pieces, etc. Which, to be honest, I mean, as a short story,
yeah, it is short. It's like Call of Duty Battlefield short.
yeah,
campaign.
it's not the energy has been put in there, but the effort and the care that they've put into those bits is pretty damn good.
Yeah, and after the last one, I'm really appreciative to get a single player experience at all. As the first one was strictly multiplayer only, and the only story beats you got were like in loading screens.
Wait, so you bought the first one and you don't play multiplayer?
Yeah, I didn't play it much.
Okay, fair enough. So the story itself has certain bits inside the story we wanted to touch on, because they show a bit of ingenuity, a bit of innovation about how to do things in a shooter game that kind of makes you want to play it. It's as simple as that.
It does. I mean, normally when I go back and have to get footage, I'm kind of like, certainly for stuff like Mafia 3, it's sort of like I have to force myself to do it and all this.
That was grindy though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was grindy. But in this, it was kind of like that at the beginning. But as soon as I started playing it, it just flew by because I was enjoying myself.
Mm. There's a couple of sections that stick out in my brain, and they are, you don't seem to get like really quiet, crappy bits. And sometimes when you do play a one-player game like Mafia 3, you get the grind. There wasn't, because it was so short. It's probably harder to do. But the bits that stick out on my experience were, there's a particular section where you are playing around with time.
Yes.
And I know you want to talk about this because it's a bit that you love the most.
Mm-hmm.
But effectively, I'll just explain what it is. So you get this gadget that can switch between a time in the past and the present. And you can switch it very quickly between the two. And because of that, you can do interesting things. But one thing I wanted to mention was the technical aspect of the game never drops off or fails frames or kind of jutters or stutters or anything. It continues to keep its performance up while you're doing this. So it obviously is, what's the word I'm looking for? It's optimized.
Rendering?
It's optimized for it. It knows that that's going to be happening. It's got enough resource to deal with it. So Lee, talk about the time mechanic-y thingy. Timey-wimey.
Timey-wimey. It's just the best thing ever. There you go. Basically, it kicks the shit out of everything they try to do in Quantum Break time-wise. It is just wonderful. It is like being Nightcrawler in the opening of X-Men 2.
Yeah.
It is just, if you're fighting a bad guy, he's got a shield up, you just switch over time frame, wander around, because they leave after images that slowly fade. You walk around behind him, pop back, you're right behind three of them, you're like, bam, bam, bam. It's amazing.
But what's interesting is that when you do switch between, say, you switch from a time where you're facing somebody that's got a gun, you switch to the other time to move to a new position. In that other time, there'll be another threat there.
Yeah.
So you won't be able to kind of just like
reptile doggies.
Reptile doggies. You got the weird robots crawling out the floors and the walls. There's stuff. I think they're called spectres.
Stalkers.
Sorry, stalkers. So those will kind of prevent you from just staying in one and kind of getting to your right position. You have to keep switching. You have to keep jumping. There's even a shoot bit where you are falling towards these fans. So if you don't switch between the different times, you're going to splat and get chopped up in a fan.
But it alternates, so it's like fan, fiery debris, and they're in the different time zones, so you have to sort of flip back and forth as you're falling.
Yeah, and it gets faster and faster. But that illustrated to me that it is actually set up and optimized to do that, and it didn't crash, didn't jutter and make you kind of miss your point. It was just done really well. So well done to Respawn.
Yes, that was truly the best usage of time I've ever seen in a video game.
Wow, high praise indeed. So the campaign is short, but it is a good payoff. It's very epic finishing. It does feel good, but then after that you're kind of thinking, what do I do now?
Well, the multiplayer, of course.
Yeah. So let's talk, before we get into multiplayer, let's talk about the mechanics and weapons and things you get in it, because that's kind of what might sell it to you. So as I said before, you get a classic FPS, you get a primary and a secondary weapon. You can have, at some points, time to spend time in the Titan, who has another set of weapons, a couple of extra boosts or special abilities, and a mixture of the two. In the single player, you don't really get a feeling of how important those differences in abilities are.
No, it's more, it's like, you look at the Titan loadouts and you think, yeah, I wouldn't mind slamming someone with a sword, let's have that one.
Yeah. But you can, in the single player, you can choose and switch between. In the multiplayer, you're kind of stuck in that round or that game with that particular Titan and that particular loadout. But the primaries are standard fare. You got your rifles, assault rifles, sniper rifles, shotguns,
massive shotgun, good. We like
pistols, anti-Titan rifles or bazookas. I'm not quite sure what to call them. They kind of charge up and discharge a massive energy. Pew pew, a pew pew. I don't know what to call it. It's a thing. It's a Titan gun. Fuck it. But just kick the mic. Kick the mic. Yeah. So in the game, you have that standard fare, but you also have wall running, which we've both had mixed feelings about.
Yeah, it needed to come back, but it is tied into a lot of sort of puzzly stuff this time around, whereas before it was just a mode of transport trying to get advantage over the other guys, because you were just in these maps that had buildings in and you could run up the buildings and jump across rooftops and all this. But it's this time around, it's very much you need to time what you're doing, because you're not just going up something static. You could be running across a wall that's being driven upwards and away from you, and the one you're going with is going to move as well. So it has to be about timing, and you have to make those jumps count. And to this end, it does give you a ghost. So you go in there and it analyzes terrain and shows you how you should be doing it. But seeing how it's done and actually doing it, there's a little bit of a disconnect, because it can get a little bit tetchy at times.
It's sticky.
It's sticky, yes. That's
so when you go near to a wall when you're in flight, you will attach yourself and start wall running, no matter what you do. So you will, certainly when I was playing the multiplayer side, which you can still wall run, you might be trying to jump around a corner, but you might be slightly too close, and then you get clipped, and then you set off in another direction, because that's the way that the wall's pushing you. So it's a little bit too sticky for me, but it's a learning curve. It's a mechanic you have to learn how to do. It's not something you do in every game, and so spend some time and you'll be okay with it, probably.
Yeah, I think the wall running would be far more. It's far more prevalent in the single player than I'd imagine it being in the multiplayer.
Well, I don't know.
No,
I think it's probably more in the multiplayer, because to be honest, when you're running, you don't move very quickly. I mean, if you're facing up against a Titan, the Titan can literally just go and watch you run across an open space. If you're running on the wall, you run faster, and when you jump off the wall, you jump further and faster. Even sliding when you're running across the floor, you actually go faster for a period of time. But it's a mode of transport, but it's also an evasive technique in the multiplayer, because you really need an evasive technique in the multiplayer.
Very much.
The amount of times I walk around a corner and there's a Titan that just goes, hello, bang, and then I'm dead. That's just me being crap, though.
Yes, that's him being crap.
But yeah, so the wall running is something that is as a good mechanic, and we appreciate these kind of I can't even say the word now.
Innovative.
That's the one. The innovative methods of playing within the game, and it does transfer to the multiplayer. So the multiplayer, getting onto that part, so Lee can shut up for at least 10 minutes or so while I waffle on. But so multiplayer, standard fare of. I saw that.
I know there's a camera right there.
I know. I can see it in both ways. The multiplayer has the standard modes you'd expect: deathmatch, capture the flag, domination of base points. But they have a mode where you can just jump on board and it will take you through different modes and bring in people as and when required, which is kind of nice. It's just you don't have to think too much. I want to play some stuff online, and then you can just jump in, play some Titan on Titan only matches, like Last Titan Standing I think it's called, or just a pilot v pilot mode where there is no Titans to be added in, so it's a more generic FPS, which you would love. Why don't you play this?
What?
Yeah, sorry. Bring you back in the room.
Have you finished talking about multiplayer, bollocks yet?
No.
Damn it.
So, in the multiplayer, one thing I will say is that the menus are a bit of a naff setup. They're not naff, they just could be better. They don't seem to be very intuitive. There's lots of stuff. You don't necessarily get a tutorial about how it all ties together, or there's no kind of reading up tutorial stuff that I found. Although I didn't go searching, I just jumped in and went for it. It's not too bad, but it is a bit of a learning curve about how, what your credits mean, how you get more credits for each match, how you level up stuff. But the leveling up does happen quite often. So it's a classic leveling up system. Early levels don't need much experience, and as you go on, they need more and more to get up through the levels. And with those levels, you get increases on the equipment you've been using. So you go through levels on your guns, but does have the problem of if you start to use a gun and then you want to change sort of tactic, that gun will be level 1, the new one. So be careful and work out how you want to play before you start playing multiplayer, otherwise you could end up wasting some time.
How's the matchmaking?
There is no matchmaking, let's be honest. You will get put into matches, and I'd like to say that jumping into a match first of all and being put up against level 20s or whatever they were at the time is a sign of how good I am. But I know for a fact that I am not good at first-person shooters. So the fact is, the matchmaking isn't working. You can stop laughing now, please. It's fine. So what you'll find is you'll be put up against people that have better guns, better damage, better range, more selection of weapons, even the kind of loadouts they can have in their Titans, and it won't be as fair as you feel. So you'll be like, I'm unloading a clip of Titan shotgun or a laser shot, whatever, and they've literally just unloaded like a Iron Man style ion beam that's just dicks you in about 2 seconds, and it just feels a bit unbalanced. And of course you're not going to get much practice because you weren't playing from day one, so you're not going to be level 20. It'll take you a long time to grind. It's the usual multiplayer problem. It's not the game's problem, although the matchmaking could be better. The way it goes in online, whether it be Titanfall, Destiny, Call of Duty, doesn't matter what, the matchmaking is never really going to be there.
Fair enough. That sounds particularly off-putting for me.
But you can get other cosmetic stuff. There is no microtransactions as far as we can tell.
Yes, we did search.
There is no way of buying, paying to win type scenarios, which is fantastic. Well done to you guys at EA and Respawn, whoever made that decision. But there is no extra credit.
I think we can
buying.
safely say that was Respawn.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So you can buy banners and camos, kits. You get those awarded for certain games. There is also a game mode called Colosseum, which I think is a one-on-one cage match between 2 pilots. That sounds interesting, but I don't want to actually waste my credits going in there. I'll wait till I get a ticket and maybe try that out. But it's as a multiplayer experience, it's got everything you'd expect, and it'll probably keep you going for a few hours. As we said at the start, there's only under 10,000 people playing in Europe. I haven't attached myself to the US servers. I don't know what's going on over there, or whether that 7,000 we saw was everyone. And if it is everyone, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, but as we said at the beginning, it's not being picked up, and it's just a crying shame because they have listened to people's complaints about the first game, which I have played and own, and
I haven't played the first one.
You've played a little bit of it.
I've had a little doodly. Yeah. A little doodly.
Which I stopped playing basically because I found that when 2 Titans blew up on screen, it went to single-digit frame rate. Yeah, my Xbox One shat its pants when that happened.
And you don't get that this time around. I mean,
No,
you can
same
have a
here.
whole game with like 8 different Titans running, or maybe even 10 different Titans running around, and it's not a problem. Absolutely not a problem.
No, they have definitely listened to the complaints that were levelled at the first game, and they have acted to respond to them in every way. In every way, this game is better than the first.
It's unusual. I mean, let's be honest. A sequel being better,
Godfather?
that's a film, not a game.
Mass Effect.
Okay, but how long ago was that? So it doesn't happen very often.
I don't know.
But, I mean, you have to remember that Mass Effect is an amazing fucking trilogy. Excusing the ending, we know that. Just don't leave that in the comments. But it's an amazing trilogy. But the people behind it really cared about what they did. And I'm getting the same feeling from these guys. Yes, I did have a dabble in the first one, but you can vouch for this, that the second one is better than the first one. But it's because it looks like they care, and they've listened, and they've tried to improve, make the actual end product better than the first time, and actually improving on what they had before.
Yeah, absolutely, and they should be supported in that, but it's just not selling.
I think you could probably say that if you had this game debuting at £40, so that'd be like $50 rather than the $60, £50 version, you would probably see a few more people pick it up. I don't think it's worth 50 quid.
Well, I mean, it's in the UK at least. It's still on sale right now, so well, maybe not when you see this video, but hopefully that stop kicking the mic. Hopefully that will serve to inflate the player base and people throwing down like 30 quid rather than 50 or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got money to spend, you won't feel bad after buying it. It won't be a pile of shit. You will have a good time with it in the single player, and you will have a good time with it in the multiplayer if you like that.
I don't think we can justify recommending it full price if you're only going to play single player, though, because it is a short campaign. It's a fun campaign, but you're talking like, what, £10 an hour, basically.
Yeah.
So if you got disposable income, you don't care about that, do it.
I mean, you probably spend that much on a film, but, you know, you don't have to do anything there. Just watch it.
Yeah.
Rather than actually play it. So, what do we think about Titanfall 2 as a final thing?
As a final thing.
I mean, we've already said it many times, but, you know, just for rounding it off purposes.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, actually. The characterization between yourself and BT was really well done. The mechanics, the shooting mechanics, the wall jumping was okay. The time travel was just outstanding. That was just such a great set piece to go through. I really enjoyed that. For me, it's a strong 8.
Wow. I think it's one of your biggest scores yet.
I've had bigger. Not many, though.
No, but 8's pretty high. I mean, for me, I think there's obviously a lot of care going into the game. I appreciate that. Price is a little bit too high. For an FPS, I'm never going to give it that high score because it's going to be the kind of game I don't enjoy as much as others. So looking at it objectively, removing that bias, I'd have to probably agree and go for maybe a 7. Even though I've experienced the multiplayer. I mean, if you had to play multiplayer, I reckon yours go down to a 6.
I don't play multiplayer.
But in terms of what you get bang for your buck, 7's a fair score. It's still great. I don't think it... I think the price hurts the score for me a little bit for the sort of bang for buck.
Well, if you're
rating.
gonna play the multiplayer for a long time, then it's easily worth it because the amount of hours you'll get out of it.
But that is a problem. If people aren't playing it, there's no one to play against, and the multiplayer is the bit you're paying for. You know, you're paying money for nothing.
Yeah, I think what you'll get is you'll just get a small core group of players that stick with it, and anyone that joins new is just going to be like completely trampled because they're so overpowered compared to them.
Yeah, I mean, look back at the old days of the old Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I remember going on that about 5 years after it was first launched, and everyone had it completely hacked and screwed up, like kill headshots and stuff. I don't know why people were bothering playing it, but you know, that's the kind of thing where it dies because it's either unfair, unmatched, unbalanced. So at the moment, jump on, have a good time, enjoy yourselves, but just remember that it's going to be a tough grind to get to a place where you are good. But you can still perform in those multiplayer matches. You can still contribute, and that's the important thing. In some of the matches where you might get money for killing someone, you would get money for killing a grunt or a stalker, and then you can still contribute to the end game. So kudos to them for doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll still keep it as a 7 though.
Fair enough.
But that's our review of Titanfall 2. Hope you've enjoyed. Drop us a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't already. Be nice.
Yeah, also, let us know what you think.
Comment down below.
Tell us how incredibly right we are about everything.
We are right about most things.
Well, I am.
And me.
No, just me.
No, me as well.
No, me.
Me. Well, you can find out by watching our videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Did you like that segue?
I'm scared.
I did. I like that segue. Anyway, guys, we do have videos coming out 3 times a week, so check us out and hope to see you again soon. So, take care of yourselves. Bye!
Take it easy, guys. That is because he's spending 60% of his life locked in his fucking car shooting the same things over and over.
Okay, that's a good point. We'll come on to this now. So, in this game, we now have access to... I don't know if it was in the last game or not. I didn't play that one, but the risk is much higher as well.
Yeah, it's not just a PvP area either. It's an area that allows PvP, but there are AI enemies in there, and they're all hella tough. It's definitely designed for cooperative play in there.
Yeah, and I'd actually suggest